What's going on, everybody? It's Mark. This is GameRules.com, and today I'm going to teach you how to play a classic called 10-point pitch. Not only are there many different ways to play pitch, but there are many different ways to play 10-point pitch. And I'm going to show you the one that I know. In this game, players will play in partnerships, and you are only going to be playing with your trump suited cards. There's a bidding phase, there's a draw phase, and there are many point cards to consider when you're playing. It's a pretty great game. Pitch is my favorite family of games. Let's get going and learn how to play. To play 10-point pitch, all you need is a standard 52 card deck as well as two jokers. Your jokers need to look different from each other, so you can designate one as low and the other as high. The trump suit is extended quite a bit with the addition of the jokers, both low and high, and the addition of a low jack, which is the jack of the same color as the trump suit. To begin the game, determine a dealer. That player shuffles the deck and deals 9 cards to each player. Partners for this game should sit across the table from each other. So here our player at the bottom of the screen is partners with the player at the top, and the left is partners with the right. After dealing, the remainder of the deck, which we will refer to as the stock, should remain near the dealer because it will come into play here in a moment. After the cards have been dealt, it's time for the bid. Before moving on to the bidding phase, you need to understand how the points work in this game. So let's take a look. Each round, players are trying to capture the point cards that are within the trump suit. The 3 of trumps is worth 3 points. The 2, 10, low joker, high joker, low jack, high jack, and the ace of the trump suit are all worth 1 point. So there's a total of 10 points available each round. The bidding phase begins with the player left of the dealer. We'll say our dealer is here at the bottom of the screen. So our player on the left side of the screen will bid first. The minimum bid possible is 4. If a player does not wish to bid, they may pass. The maximum bid possible is 10, and that's called shooting the moon. That means you are going to capture every single point card. And shooting the moon scores a little differently. So we'll talk about that in the scoring section of the video. Our player here on the left side of the screen is going to go ahead and bid 4. If they win the bid, they are going to probably go in diamonds. And remember, this is a partnership game, so you can sort of count on your partner for help when you're considering your bid. After a player bids, the bid passes left. Our player at the top of the screen is going to bid 5. The bid passes to the left, and our player at the right side of the screen does not want to bid higher than 5, so they say pass. Our player here at the bottom of the screen doesn't feel like they have a strong enough hand to overbid their partner, who is currently winning the bid, so they say pass. Now, if all players were to pass without bidding, the dealer would be stuck and they would have to bid 4 and become the pitcher. Otherwise, whoever bids the highest number wins, will get to name trump, and becomes what's called the pitcher for the round. Our player at the top of the screen won the bid with 5. So they will name trump, and they're going to say that spades are trump. That completes the bidding phase. Now it's time to move on to the draw phase. The draw phase begins with the player left of the dealer. They take all of the cards that are not part of the trump suit from their hand and they discard them. Then the dealer will deal the number of cards needed for that player to have a hand of 6. So you start the round with 9 cards, you discard any non-trump, and then you are dealt back up to 6. So for this player, they would get 3 cards from the top of the stock. After that, it will pass left. They have 5 trump cards, so they are dealt 1. Our next player has 3 trump cards in hand. Remember, the same colored jack becomes the low jack for the trump suit, and it counts as part of that trump suit. It is a spade for this round. They turn in their discards, and they are dealt 3 cards. Our dealer here at the bottom of the screen has 2 trump cards, so they are dealt 4. If a player discards all of their non-trump and they have more than 6 trump cards in their hand, they will have to discard trump as well, down to 6. They won't get any cards from the draw. After the draw phase is complete, whatever cards are remaining in the stock will go to the pitcher. They add those cards to their hand, and then they discard down to 6. If the pitcher chooses, they may give those cards to their partner instead, but they may not look at the cards if they wish to do that. So their options are to take the cards, add them to their hand, and look at them, or refrain from looking at them and give them directly to their partner. Considering their hand, let's go ahead and let their partner have the cards from the stock. So essentially, they're going to go through and pull out any trump cards, which all they have is the 3, which is a good card to have control of. And then they will need to discard one more from their hand, and it doesn't really matter here. They're just going to get rid of that 2 and then add the trump 3 to their hand. So now all of our players have 6 cards in hand. Now that the draw phase is complete, we can begin trick play. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, we only use trump cards in this game. So our pitcher begins by leading a trump card to the trick. They may lead any trump card that they wish. And they're going to go ahead and just throw out their 8 of trump. Play passes left, and now this player must choose a trump card to play to the trick. Play passes left. Our player here must also play trump, and they're going to go ahead and throw out the 5. Now our player here on the left side of the screen is in a good position. They're going to be able to play their 10 of spades and not only win this trick, but they're going to earn their team a point for capturing that 10. Remember, the 10 of trumps is a point card. The trick winner collects the cards, and then they lead the next trick, and they must lead a card from the trump suit. So now our player must either throw out the 2 or throw out the king. They're going to go ahead and hold on to that 2 because it is worth a point, and they're not sure if their partner can take it. And they'll lead out the king. Play passes left, and they must again play trump. They're going to go ahead and put their 4 on the pile. Play passes left. This player may either take the trick with their ace or throw a point on the pile. They know they have the ace, so they're going to go ahead and throw the jack. Remember, the jack of clubs is part of the trump suit, and it is a point. Play passes left to the dealer, and they are going to throw the 7 on the trick. They do that knowing that their queen might be able to win a trick at some point, and that the 3 is worth 3 points, and they're going to hold on to that. Again, the king takes the trick, and this team now has 2 points. And they lead again. Let's go ahead and play this through so you see what happens once a player runs out of trump. Our next player follows suit. Of course, we're playing nothing but trump here. And for this trick, they're just going to throw the 9 out, and they're going to hold on to these point cards. And then our next player has no choice but to play the ace of spades. Right now, this trick has 2 points in it. And this player is also going to throw a spade, and they're just going to throw their queen. The ace of spades takes the trick, so they collect it. And now we have a player without trump. What happens is when it's a player's turn and they have no trump left in their hand, they simply fold and wait for the round to end. Here, the player has no trump. They cannot lead, so they fold their cards. They say they're out, and the lead passes left. So our player here at the bottom of the screen plays their 3 of spades. The next player has no trump in hand, so they also fold and say, I'm out. And then our next player has trump. They're going to go ahead and just throw the joker, knowing that their opponents can't add to the trick. They collect the trick. And then, since there's only one team remaining with trump cards, both players just throw their cards in. These aren't trump, so they're discarded anyways. And those cards are collected by that player. After all the tricks have been collected, it's time to tally up the score. To figure out the score for the round, First, the bid winning team determines whether or not they captured enough points to meet or exceed their bid. So our bid winning team bid 5. They have captured 6. So they have met or exceeded their bid. They earn points equal to their bid, so they would earn 5 points for the round. The opposite team, the non-bid winning team, just earns points for whatever point cards they captured. So they would actually get 4 points. If the bid winning team fails to meet or exceed their bid, let's say they didn't capture that 3, then they would go backwards the number of points equal to their bid. So here they would deduct 5 points from their score because as a team, they did not capture enough points. If this was the first round of a game, they would begin the game with a score of -5. Now, shooting the moon is scored a little different. If a player bids 10, saying they're going to shoot the moon, and their score is 0 or more, if they capture all 10 points, they win the game. That team wins. It's like winning 52 points for the round and then winning the game. If a team is in the hole, if they have a negative score and they shoot the moon and capture all 10 points, that only brings their score up to 0. If they bid 10 and shot the moon and failed to capture all 10 points, then your score goes backwards 52. You would deduct 52 points from your score. After the score has been tallied, collect all of the cards. The deal passes left. You will continue to play rounds until one player reaches a score of 52 or more. And that's how to play 10-point pitch. Not only do I encourage you to check this particular game out, but I would really encourage you to just look at the pitch family of games in general. There are far simpler versions you can play, such as 4-point pitch. And once you dive in and start messing with all the different rules and different ways to play, I don't think you're going to look back. If it's your first time joining us today, be sure to subscribe so you're notified about new uploads. And if you're more into reading the rules, if that helps you understand how to play better, then head over to gamerules.com. I'll put a link down in the description just for you. Until next time, keep on playing.